The SWAC East is really taking it to everybody, and we got the big showdown between Jackson State as well as Alabama State.
Cal, anytime you talk about homecoming at Jackson State, man, I mean, you think about big crowds. And, granted, over the last 4 to 5, 6 years, like you talk about a good Jackson State football team and what they've been able to do on the field and just within the SWAC. And Jackson State fans are expecting to win this game on Saturday. Y'all know the history between Jackson State and Alabama State, whether it was Jackson State playing Alabama State for homecoming last couple of years, how this game has been. It's a really, really good time for these two teams to play. And, I was in the press conference with Coach Taylor on Monday, and he really just kind of alluded to the fact that, like, there's not much he really had to really tell his players about the magnitude of this game. Of course, they know it's homecoming and, things of that nature, but they know what sits in front of them. Like, this is a game that could potentially decide who wins the SWAC East, at least for right now, because obviously there are some other games played, but this is arguably the biggest game of the season, specifically in the SWAC right now.
But when it comes to this game, T.C. Taylor versus Eddie Robinson Jr. And Eddie Robinson Jr., let's be honest, man. That proverbial monkey has to come off that back, man. He's one of the best coaches in college football for HBCUs. This way, with Andrew Waddy, seems like he can be able to do it, but they have to get over Jackson State, the Giants.
Oh, you're absolutely right, Cal. And that saying that to be the best, you got to beat the best, and to be the champs, you got to beat the champs in Jackson State. But this is a Alabama State team that is extremely dangerous, and it's different because in previous years we've talked about Alabama State and their shutout defense and what they've been able to do. Specifically over the last 3. And it's crazy because this year their offense is outperforming the defense. But this is what we expected from Alabama State last year, granted, if Andrew Waddy is not hurt. And we're really getting to see a full display of this young man's arsenal of what he can do as far as sitting in the pocket, making passes, getting outside the pocket, using his legs to make plays. But this is going to be a true litmus test for both teams, specifically, Jackson State and Alabama State, to see okay, really, which defense is going to be able to stop the opposing offense and make the critical plays to win this game. They may not necessarily perform to the same level of standard that they've been performing each week leading up to this game, but I definitely think that whoever wins this game is definitely going to come from the fact of the defense was able to make critical plays and critical stops needed to get the victory.
I think this is one of the games that is David versus Goliath. It's the champs versus the wannabes, right?